legends took flight. One born to defend, the other to conquer. Their engines roared across Europe, turning the sky into a battlefield. Every duel was a heartbeat between victory and death. This is the story of the Spitfire versus Messerschmitt duel over Europe. The Spitfire versus Messerschmitt duel over Europe in the vast blue arena of World War II. Few rivalries captured the essence of air combat like the clash between the British Supermarine Spitfire and the German Messerschmitt Bf-109. These two fighters became more than machines. They were symbols of national pride, technological genius, and the courage of the men who flew them. Their duel over Europe was not just a battle of planes, but of wills, tactics, and destiny. When the Battle of Britain began in 1940, the Spitfire was still a new weapon, elegant, fast, and deadly. Its sleek elliptical wings gave it unmatched agility, and its Rolls-Royce Merlin engine purred with restrained power. Across the channel, the Messerschmitt Bf-109E, Germany's finest fighter, roared to meet it. Designed by it was the spearhead of the Luft, boasting superior climb rates and heavy armament. Both were masterpieces, but each reflected the philosophy of its nation. The Spitfire was built for defense, nimble, balanced, and capable of fighting close to home. The Bf-109 was built for conquest, rugged, aggressive, and designed to strike fast and retreat across occupied Europe. Their first true test came in the summer skies over southern England as the Luftwaffe launched wave after wave of raids. The RAF's fighter command scrambled its squadrons to intercept. Hurricanes took on bombers, while Spitfires engaged them in deadly duels at 20,000 feet. The two fighters were strikingly different in combat. The Bf-109 could outclimb the Spitfire and dive faster, but it struggled in tight turns. The Spitfire, on the other hand, could twist and roll with incredible grace, often gaining the upper hand but battles were rarely decided by machines alone. It was the pilot's skill, nerve, and split-second choices that decided who lived and who died. One of the men who embodied this rivalry was Adolf Galland, a German ace who led Jagdgeschwader 26. Known as the Avil Boys, Galland respected his enemy deeply, once famously telling Hermann Grit, "Give me a squadron of and I'll win this war for you." On the British side stood Douglas Bader, the legless RAF ace, whose iron determination made him a legend. Though their paths never crossed directly in combat, both men personified the duel between two worlds, one fighting for domination, the other for survival. As the war progressed, the duel evolved. The Spitfire saw continuous upgrades from the MKI and MKV to the MKX, more powerful and refined. The Bf-109 too was constantly improved, its F&G variants featuring stronger engines and heavier cannons. By 1941, these aircraft met not only over England, but across the skies of France, the Mediterranean, and North Africa. Over the beaches of Dunkirk, Spitfires covered the retreating British Expeditionary Force, clashing with in swirling dogfights that decided whether tens of thousands would live or die. In the siege of Malta, Spitfires fought against overwhelming odds, often outnumbered and under fuel restrictions, yet still holding the line against Axis air power. Each encounter was brutal and personal. The dogfights often began with a flash of sunlight on metal, followed by seconds of chaos, sharp turns, steep climbs, and bursts of tracer fire cutting through the air. One moment of hesitation could turn hunter into prey. Pilots often never saw the man who killed them. By 1942, the balance began to shift. The Spitfire MKX, equipped with a two-stage supercharger, could finally match and even surpass the Bf-109G at high altitudes. But by then, Germany had turned its focus eastward, and new challenges loomed. The rivalry reached its poetic climax during the Dieppe raid in August, 1942. More than 100 Spitfires and Mess clashed over the French coast in one of the largest single-day air battles of the war. Losses were heavy on both sides, but the Spitfire proved it could now meet the Luftwaffe on equal terms and win. Yet even amid such violence, respect remained. Captured Pilots often spoke of admiration for their opponents. British ace Johnny Johnson, who scored 38 victories, once said, "If I was going to be shot down, I hoped it would be by a man in a..." The duel between the Spitfire and Messerschmitt was more than mechanical rivalry. It represented two visions of warfare. The Spitfire defended the idea of freedom agile, enduring, and beautiful in its purpose. The Messerschmitt embodied the precision and discipline of a machine built for dominance. By the final years of the war, the Messerschmitt began to fade. Newer German fighters like the FW-190 and the revolutionary Me-262 jet took to the skies, but the Spitfire, constantly adapted and reborn, continued flying until the end, even serving in post-war air forces for decades. When peace returned to Europe in 1945, both aircraft had etched their legacy in history. Over 20,000 Spitfires were built, more than any other British fighter, while nearly 34,000 BF-19s rolled off German assembly lines. They had shaped not just battles, but the very art of aerial warfare. In museums today, these two aircraft often stand side by side, silent, gleaming reminders of their deadly dance. Their rivalry defined the skies of a world at war, but also revealed something timeless, that even in destruction, human ingenuity could create beauty. The Spitfire and the Messerschmitt, two wings of history, forever locked in flight. Their rivalry defined the skies of Europe, a clash of courage, skill, and steel. But far across the ocean, another storm was gathering in the Pacific. An attack from the sky would soon awaken a sleeping giant and reshape history. Join us in the next episode, Pearl Harbor, the air raid that changed the world. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.